How many of us were babies at one point in our life? You all should have your hands raised. See, we already have so much in common. This is going to be fun. I have the opportunity of working as a postpartum doula and newborn care specialist with a bunch of different families. I bet you wonder what that is. Essentially, I am every baby book come to life in one small, convenient package. When a family brings their baby home from the hospital, I'm there to help educate them and share tips and tricks on what they can do in order to be better, more efficient, and confident parents. In my 20 years of experience, I have learned that babies have a special kind of wisdom that I'd like to share with you today that I call infant wisdom. So many of us adults have forgotten about several different things that babies do much better than us. So I'm here today to tell you why it's okay to be a little infantile. Let's start with breathing. I bet you all just noticed your breathing just now. When a baby breathes, their stomach expands when they inhale and contracts when they exhale, kind of like the big bad wolf. They're breathing at an optimal level through their diaphragm. When we take big breaths, it gives more oxygen to our brain. We should all be taking big breaths throughout the day. Let's practice now. Everybody take a big breath with me. Now, isn't that better? The next thing I'd like to talk about is something we all lack and wish we had more of: sleep. As you can see, the baby is sleeping calmly, and I've fallen asleep at my computer. We've been told all our lives that you're supposed to get a bunch of sleep during the day, or in the evening, shall I say. Babies take naps during the day, which leaves them in a calmer state in order to retain information. We should all talk to our bosses about taking naps during the day, right? And then we'll be more productive and generally not grumpy. However, that's not really a reality. So I recommend that you focus on getting a good night's sleep. Did you know that babies don't wake up with sore necks or backs? It's because they get the right amount of sleep, and they also don't go to bed with stresses in their life. If we learn how to unplug from things that stress us out in our lives, like work, bills, relationship issues, everything that piles up before we go to bed, we can have a better night's sleep. Things that I suggest to do in order to unplug before you go to bed are journaling, meditating, breathing, or speaking with your loved one about your day, not binge watching your favorite show or scrolling social media. Let your body unplug from the matrix a bit, and you will wake up feeling more rested and relaxed. Babies are really good at asking for help because otherwise, they'll die. Many adults hesitate when they want to ask for help. They will try and figure it out on their own, or they might never ask for help, therefore not completing the task at hand. Asking for help is something that we can learn from a baby. Granted, a baby's way of asking for help may be to cry or whine, which isn't unlike some adults. But babies don't hesitate to ask. This kind of reminds me of a time when I was in the grocery store, and as you might imagine, I can't reach the top shelf. So I thought about climbing the actual steps in order to reach the item on the top shelf, but then I figured that could lead to a very big mess and maybe a disaster. So I assessed the situation and went and found someone to ask for help to reach that item. Had I had not, I could have created a disaster in the store. It did bruise my ego just a little bit that I did have to ask for help, which happens to many adults. So if you can put your ego aside and ask somebody for assistance, then you can accomplish things a lot quicker and get out of the store a lot faster. Babies are really good at being present. How many of us are present throughout our day? Multitasking seems to be something that people brag about these days. And every job posting lists multitasking as a required skill. But by and large, multitasking isn't as efficient as you would think. If you complete one task at a time, like a baby, then you will be able to complete many things a lot faster than trying to focus on many at a time. Another part of being present is listening. When you are with your loved one and you're text messaging and cooking dinner and checking your social media, it leaves you unpresent in a conversation, leaving you having to ask that person to repeat themselves over and over again. I find this often when I'm on the phone with a family member and they're constantly doing something else. So, if you can be like a baby and be completely present, then you will be able to have better connections. I'll give you an example. A baby can play peekaboo for a very long time. I promise you on that one. Or every parent's favorite, drop the keys and pick them back up, like 100 times. And the baby is always present. So if we can remember to be like a baby playing peekaboo when we are engaging in a conversation, it will go much smoother and we won't have to repeat ourselves. Babies are really good at persevering. In the first year of life, a baby learns to use every part of their body. By the age of 1, a baby learns from rolling over to sitting up and then to crawling and eventually walking. Nobody ever told a baby, "No, you can't do this," and the baby stopped trying to figure it all out. They worked on each skill every day, and then eventually it led up to walking. We can learn from this. All of us were babies at one point, and we persevered through one of the hardest things a baby learns how to do, walking. If you have a goal that you want to accomplish, then if you focus on it daily and work on it each day, you can accomplish so much more. And regardless of the naysayers that may say, "No, you can't do this," keep crawling every day, and before you know it, you'll be walking. Thank you for letting me share a little infant wisdom with you today. And remember, it's okay to be a little infantile.